What's going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and welcome back to the NPA. This is going to be week 2 of the NPA. This is going to be the team builder, and I'm going up against Old School Sin in the Waterloo Sawbucks this week. If you do not know who Old School Sin is, he's a fantastic content creator, and even more fantastic dude. So I strongly, I strongly urge every single one of you guys to go check it out. Not dying, that'd be bad. Now, the battle has already happened, so I'm going to pretty much talk about this like I don't know what happened, but, I'm also going to tell you guys that this is probably the worst team building that I've ever done in a long ass time. And most of that's because of the personal stuff that a lot of you guys know about. However, there was still some really good stuff on this team that I want you guys to know about. So real quick, let's go over Old School Sin's team because it's actually disgustingly good. First off, we have Hydreigon, Milotic, Blastoise, Ambipom, Yanmega, Claydol, Tapu Bulu, Chandelure, Magnezone, Blissey, and Muck. Now, going into this game, Hydreigon and Chandelure are the two biggest threats to my entire team. If you couldn't tell from last week, I don't have good switch-ins to special Ghost and Dark types. So because of that, I'm having to struggle a little bit whenever I'm like building to try to figure out how I want to do it. And last week I brought a wall that didn't really do its job. So this week I'm actually trying out something a little bit different. And what I wanted to do is I just want to do a straight up hyper offense. Like, I don't plan on this game being a large win. I had one mock battle and I lost it 2-0, 1-0, something like that. But I don't have the bulk to match his offenses. Like, Hydreigon, Chandelure alone, they can blow through my entire team. Add into the fact that he could bring something like an offensive Claydol, an offensive Magnezone, or even an offensive Milotic. Like the whole competitive set that's been running around, that's even disgusting against my team. I don't have many Intimidators, but if I bring Skarmory and I defog or something like that, that can be really threatening. His team is very, very hard for me to switch into. So because of that, I'm not bringing many walls at all this week. That's my choice, really. I could have brought walls, and I could have brought things like Skarmory with Shed Shell, because in the first 2 weeks I'm going up against two of the best Magnet Pulmons, being Alolan Golem. I think that's actually a really good Magnet Pulmon. If you don't know, that's my opinion on it. And Magnezone, so two really good Magnet Pulmons, so that kind of sucks. And I went up against a Gengar, Hoopa, Chandelure, and Hydreigon, so 4 very good Special Dark and Ghost types. So I'm hoping that after this week I don't have to struggle too much with that anymore, but that's what my team struggles with the most, obviously. Ambipom I'm not really scared of too much. Yanmega I'm a little scared of, but not too badly, because if I bring Skarm, then it just can't touch me. Not to mention it can't really touch Charizard X either, especially like if I'm already Mega'd, it's not doing anything. Tapu Bulu is a little bit threatening though, because my best switch into it is Charizard X, but even though I have a Charizard X, it can run Stone Edge, and it can do a lot of ow, so I have to be very careful with how much ow I put on my Charizard X early on in the game. Blissey I'm terrified of, believe it or not. Now, normally I would never say that, because I'm never scared of Blissey. I think that Blissey's shit, and I think that its little sister, Chansey, is also shit. However, it's actually very good against my team. It deters so much setup on my end. Aside from Lucario, I can't set up against Blissey with my Charizard X because it can Thunder Wave me. If I run sub, it can break my sub in one Seismic Toss because it doesn't have over base 100 HP. It's very hard for me to set up against his team. Hydreigon is more than likely going to be Scarfed, preventing me from running like Dragon Dance and a bulky Dragon Dance set, because it'll still outspeed me and just bot me with the Draco. Milotic can have Haze and Dragon Tail. Blastoise can have Roar. Both of those just instantly make me not want to do it. Claydol, it can actually hurt me pretty bad with Earth Power, so that's something else that I'm actually a little bit scared of. But the rest of his team just straight up loses to Dragon Dance Charizard X. I just don't have opportunities to set up against his team, no matter how bulky I am. I have to run like pretty much a Jolly Max speed. I have to have a lot of HP to live like 2 Shadow Balls from Chandelure to ensure that I can do that. And even then, if I do that, I don't have enough bulk to live, say, a Stone Edge from Tapu Bulu after Stealth Rocks or 2 Ambipom returns. Like, there's a lot that I won't be able to do with it, so I just don't think that setup Charizard X is the best thing to bring this week. But overall, I can pretty much expect what he's going to be bringing. Hydreigon, Milotic, or Blastoise, one of the two. Claydol, I actually could see because it's actually really fat. Tapu Bulu, I could see. Chandelure, Magnezone, and Blissey. I could see every single one of them. I know that was 7 Mons, but one of them won't be coming, but that's how the cookie crumbles. But yeah, so now that we've gone into that, let's go into the shitty team that I made that I'm absolutely not proud of at all, but that's just whatever. You guys are still going to try to see how I went about this team to ensure that I can clean up late game, hopefully. The first mon on this team is actually Lucario. With an Expert Belt, I'm bringing 2 Expert Belters, by the way. That was terrible prep in my part. I should not have done that. This should be a Z move. This should be a fighting Z move in my opinion. But that was terrible prep in my part. I'm still not used to prepping with Z moves, so realizing that, hey, maybe 2 Expert Belters was not the right thing to do, and maybe this should be like Fightinium Z or Steelium Z or even Darkium Z. But whatever, can't change it now. Now, the big problem with this set is that I can't touch everything on his team. Nothing on my offenses can touch everything on his team. Like, I don't have a mon that I can be like, holy ball sack, this straight up sweeps him, or this runs through everything on his team. I have to bring a plethora of different offensive options depending on what he wants to bring. And even then, I'm leaving out something that's super important for me in a team. So this Lucario is actually really cool because if he decides to trap me in with his Magnezone, he cannot OHKO me with anything, including Specs in Power Ground. If he has Specs, Aura Sphere does a whole lot to it, and it allows me to clean him up with Vacuum Wave afterwards. Flash Cannon is pretty much just for Tapu Bulu, and Dark Pulse is there just for Chandelure in case it's Sub Calm Mind, because I fully expect to Sub Calm Mind Chandelure. I think that is the most threatening thing in the entire world to my team. If he's able to set up a sub on this thing, or my Whimsicott, or my Lickitung, or just pretty much anything else, it's absolutely terrifying. Now, Vacuum Wave was also there for the Hydreigon, because it does about 60%. I absolutely love Vacuum Wave on this thing. But overall, this set, I could have done better on it. I should have done better on it. I didn't have the time to actually look at it and realize what was the best, but, you know, it can still do a lot of work in the team matchup just because of the fact that it does hit a lot of his team really, really hard, but it doesn't 2-hit KO them, or it just forces switches. So, and it's not set up either, so that's another thing. I couldn't run setup. Like, if I wanted to run Nasty Plot, I would have to lose out on coverage somewhere. I would have to, like, take off Aura Sphere, and then I wouldn't be able to hit my Milotic, and then that could Dragon Tail or Haze me out. If I wanted to run Swords Dance with Close Combat, I would have to also run Crunch, and then I wouldn't be able to really touch Hydreigon, because I would have to have, like, Close Combat, Extreme Speed, and Crunch, and a +2 E-Speed does not kill Hydreigon if it's at 60%, I believe. So, set up Lucario, also not a good idea, along with set up Charizard X, so that's kind of depressing. But again, this should definitely be this. Go ahead and nuke something like the Milotic with an Aura Sphere or something like that. Then we have the Whimsicott set. This set I'm actually really happy with. I really do like it. I really like it with the Expert Belt. I probably should have done something else, but I wanted to bluff a choice item on this. With Infiltrator, it's really important for that Sub Calm Mind Chandelure that I knew that thing was coming. That Sub Calm Mind Chandelure 6-0 is my team if he sets up like 1 Calm Mind. Like, even looking at what I brought, like what I have, what do I have to switch into a Chandelure? Like, look at these 6 mons. Nothing switches into a Chandelure. It's bad. So, and even this, like Dark Pulse, if he sets up enough Calm Minds, fuck me. So, Shadow Ball is to hit it behind the sub to hopefully do enough damage. After Rocks +1 sub, Shadow Ball does KO it with the Expert Belt, which is really nice. Moonblast and Giga Drain is really good stab against his team because I can 2-hit KO his Bulky Waters in Milotic and Blastoise. I can also do a lot of damage to I can OHKO Hydreigon, and I can also do a lot of damage to Tapu Bulu with this, and I can get some really good U-turn momentum with this set. I have enough speed for Hydreigon. That's pretty much all I needed. This was also enough speed for Chandelure. But yeah, I really like this Whimsicott set. I can see it doing a lot of work. Hopefully, I love Whimsicott, so I hope it does a lot of work. Then we have the glue to my team. Like, Jellicent, after last week, it proved me how much I love this mon and how much of a glue it is to the team. That, along with Nidoqueen, I love the two mons. So happy that I drafted them. This also was a little bit of a misprep. Originally, what I wanted was it to be enough speed to outspeed like 40 invested Milotic, so I got that. Then I have a lot of bulk invested, so that way I can live hits from things like the, what was it? The Ambipom, the Claydol. I can live a little bit from the Muck, and I don't need any Spadef investment in order to take hits from his team because Hydreigon and Chandelure do a lot of out to me, even without these 68 plus Spadef nature. I'd rather have it to be able to take on the Ambipom just in case it comes. Now, where I messed up in this is because I have Scald, Taunt, and Recover. Like, that's perfect, right? So I'm able to outspeed my Milotic, I'm able to Taunt to prevent it from recovering up. And I can sit in there and I can wall it all day unless it has Dragon Tail. And then I can pretty much force it to eventually die. Same thing with Blissey. I can taunt it. It cannot touch me unless it has Thunderbolt. And even then, it's not doing a whole lot of damage. What I should have done was taken this off and put in Will-O-Wisp. Now, reason being, if I have Will-O-Wisp over Toxic, that means he cannot switch in things like his Tapu Bulu, his Ambipom into it and risk the Scald Burn. And like the Scald Burn, it's 30%. Like, I don't get 30% chances all that often, so I should have ran Will-O-Wisp if I can expect something to switch. Will-O-Wisp doing 6% each time is okay with me. I would rather have a longer battle and have Will-O-Wisp to have a good switch in, but I did not do that. I had Toxic in the game. So that was my bad prep on this thing. So as you can see, just from what I can already tell you, like, it's hours after the game happened. I've gotten some good sleep. I'm rested. I'm able to think about this now. This was a terrible team prep, and at least with these two mons, it was terrible. The rest of it was actually pretty good, but these two specifically wasn't really the best. But now we're going to move on to my Charizard X set. The Charizard X set that I was actually contemplating about for a good couple hours. Reason being, I wanted to have a sub Zard. If I'm able to set up a sub on the Blissey, it's going to force him to Seismic Toss, and I can 2-hit KO with Adamant Max Attack Flare Blitz. If I wanted to do this, I also wanted to be able to outspeed Chandelure. That instantly monopolizes almost all of my EVs. I wanted to have enough bulk to be able to live 2 Shadow Balls from Chandelure. This barely does it. It's a roll, and that's terrifying, especially if he's modest, then it's not a roll at all, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember the calc, actually. But overall, though, this thing breaks through every single wall in his team. Milotic, actually, let me pull up the exact calc for you guys, because whenever I read this calc, I was so freaking happy. Charizard dash Mega X. I hate how you have to do the dash Mega X shit. Like, whatever. So, Dragon Claw to Chandelure does 80%. Like, after Rocks, it's an OHKO. I'm able to outspeed. If he is the sub, Calm Mind, dead. And I love that. But the big thing that this does for me is this allows me to take out his really big, bulky threats in Milotic. Now, this is a massive roll if he is physically defensive. It's a 6.3% chance to 2-hit KO physically defensive Milotic after Stealth Rocks. That is important, because if he's not fully Phys Def, if he's like Spadef in order to take on Nidoqueen a little bit better, then I instantly 2-hit KO. What this also means is that if I'm behind a sub and he is not able to break my sub with a Scald because it is a roll, it's pretty much going to be him sacking off his Milotic in trade for just breaking my Zard's sub. And I'm okay with that, especially with Roost. I'm able to Roost up on things like Tapu Bulu since I'm faster. Stone Edge will not be able to KO me as long as I'm at like 30%. I can also OHKO Tapu Bulu with Flare Blitz. I can do a lot to his team with this mon. The only thing I can't really touch is Hydreigon, but I wasn't going to be able to touch that anyway because it was going to be Scarfed, and I didn't feel like running Jolly. I feel like actually Charizard X is a very terrible bring this week, and terrible I use loosely. But yeah, this set, I love this set. Adamant Zard X hits so hard. His switch-ins to it just don't really exist. That's why I love the combination of Dragon and Fire, because Steel types want to switch in and take the Dragon hit. Nah, you're just going to get nuked by a Fire attack, so I love Zard X. So, this next mon is the mon that I'm most excited about. And let me tell you why. I'm bringing Choice Scarf Cat right? So first you see Bite and Play Rough. That is specifically for the biggest two threats on my team. This is my answer this week to those two big threats being Chandelure and Hydreigon. After Stealth Rocks, it's a guaranteed OHKO on both of them. Without Stealth Rocks, it is a pretty big roll. In fact, I will tell you guys the exact rolls on them right now, because in the game, I actually didn't have it transferred over just yet. But Hydreigon, it is a 56% chance for me to OHKO Hydreigon with Play Rough, without Stealth Rocks, with no HP investment, so it's about 50%. And then versus the Chandelure, if he's like just the sub-call mindset with no HP investment, I do 85%, so it's a 6.3% chance. So I need Stealth Rocks in order to KO them. The problem is I do not have a good lead versus him. This is my best lead. If he leads off with Hydreigon, I have to click Play Rough. I have to get that damage off. I have nothing that can switch into Hydreigon. Like, so... Also, Parting Shot and Switcheroo I'll talk about in a minute, but since this is my designated lead, if he leads off with Hydreigon and I click Play Rough and I get the roll, cool. If I don't get the roll, sucks to suck. I don't think I'll be clicking Draco. So what I'm hoping is that I'll be able to kill the Hydreigon turn 1, and then also have this thing later on to click Parting Shot. Parting Shot is a very unique move if you don't know what it does. It allows me to drop my opponent's offenses, special attack and physical attack by one stage, get the heck out, send something in. Now, this is pretty important because things like my Charizard X, my Whimsicott, and my Lucario really benefit from this. The problem is, if he leads off with Hydreigon and I lead off with my cat, I'm not able to Parting Shot out and safely bring something in. If he leads off with his Chandelure and I Parting Shot out, I'm not able to safely bring anything in on those mons, so I have to just attack them if they're in front of me. That's going to take out pretty much one of his mons, and then if, say I don't get the roll, I get up Stealth Rocks later, they're dead anyway, so that is pretty important. I do like that a lot. I'm just hoping I get the rolls. In my mock games, I did get the roll on the Hydreigon, and then this thing was just a massive annoyance. I was able to switch through the Choice Scarf onto the Blissey. I was able to pretty much just be a massive annoyance, and then Parting Shot out, I was able to get some really good drops. So if I'm able to get the roll and this thing stays around past turn 1, I'm hoping it does, I'm able to go ahead and just Parting Shot around. I'm acting like I haven't had the game already, by the way, guys. I'm a really good actor. So yeah, I really like this thing. Technician makes Bite 90 base power. That's just scary. And has a 30% chance to flinch. I'm not playing for hacks, but if you're going to swing the axe in your favor, you might as well do it right. I really like this Alolan Persian set. I'm so excited to be using Alolan Persian in the future. I absolutely love it. So the final mon on the team is going to be another one of the glues with Jellicent, and that is going to be my Nidoqueen. I have enough speed for the pretty much same speed Milotic, so it's pretty speedy. A lot of Spadef, so I can help take on the Magnezone a little bit if he's Scarfed. I could see him bringing 3 Scarfers, no joke. I could see him easily bringing Scarf Hydreigon, Scarf Chandelure, Scarf Magnezone, or Scarf Hydreigon, Sub Calm Mind Shandy, Scarf Magnezone, or Scarf Hydreigon, Sub or Scarf, and then Specs. Like, I don't have enough to switch into all of it, so I'm pretty much just having to play it a little bit safer with this thing. This forces his Magnezone to run Hidden Power Ground, meaning that it's going to not be able to touch Whimsicott pretty much at all, and I can get into that and get some chip damage off on it with Shadow Ball. But this also outspeeds a lot of variants of Magnezone, depending on if he runs max speed or not. If he runs max speed, I'm fucked. If he runs modest max speed, I'm also fucked, so I just kind of have to hope and pray that I won't get fucked. Stealth Rocks today because they're really important, as I said, for the rolls with Alolan Persian. It helps break a lot of sturdies and sashes that Charizard X might need. It helps get that damage off to ensure that my Milotic will be 2-hit KO'd. Well, that the roll will be in my... Well, that there will be a roll for my Milotic to be 2-hit KO'd. Yeah, rocks are really important in this game. I'm going to try to get them up early. If I don't get them up early, fuck me. Like, I have such a shit matchup in this game just because of how good his offense is against mine. The fact that he has Chandelure and Hydreigon just is disgusting against my team. But Earth Power Sludge Wave, Ice Beam just hits his team generally pretty hard, and then the Spadef is there just to take some hits a little bit better on the special side. But that is pretty much the team. This was kind of a longer team builder than I normally like to talk about. However, I want you guys to understand how poor this matchup is and how I'm having to build a completely different way than I would like to be. I would like to be bringing, like, instead of Cat, like another wall, or instead of like Whimsicott, another wall, but my walls just get absolutely decimated. Like, if you look at his team, when you see it, you'll be like, okay, but you could bring Lickitung and that could be fat. No, Hydreigon superpower, like if he's like expert belt with Draco and superpower, it beats me. Ambipom just, it knocks it off and blows it back. Tapu Bulu just wood hammers it and destroys it. Chandelure can actually use it as setup fodder, and that's sad. Magnezone can do a lot of things to it, and Blissey can actually Toxic Stall it unless I run Heal Bell, and that's sad. Skarm, pretty much same thing. Hydreigon with Flamethrower, Scald, Milotic. Yanmega and Ambipom, it walls those pretty well, but I don't see him bringing either one of them. Also walls Tapu Bulu really well, but Chandelure and Magnezone just shit on its life, so the chances of me having another wall that actually does very well this game is slim to none. And if I wanted to bring, like, say, Choice Scarfed, what's it called? Braviary. It will not speed Hydreigon. It can't 2-hit KO Milotic or Blastoise. It kills Ambipom and Yanmega, but it doesn't 2-hit KO Claydol. Kills Tapu Bulu and Shandy, but Shandy is a speed tie, and I don't want to risk a speed tie. Can't really touch Magnezone unless I run Superpower, and even then I can't let myself in a Brave Bird, and I get a shit ton of recoil from Blissey. So there, I'm not even mentioning Muck because fuck that thing, but I couldn't bring that. Musharna, he has Hydreigon and Chandelure. Like, I have such a terrible matchup. It's disgusting. But that is the team I'm going to be bringing, guys. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure to leave a like down below. Also, go over to Sin's channel. Tell him he's cute. Make sure you let him know that you love him, because I do. He's an awesome guy. He's an awesome dude. I absolutely love the guy. But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.